Hello, hello. I hope everyone is doing okay. Yes, we are going live. Well, we are live. All right, let's see here. All right. We are going to have a play with mixed media. We're just going to have some fun. Going to do a couple different backgrounds. So let's get those taped up. Well, good morning, Betty. How are you? I hope you're doing okay. Okay. Today I just feel like digging into the stash. Whether we use watercolors, watercolor pencils. I have those pulled out. What else did I pull out? I pulled out some of my Tim Holtz ephemera. I'll probably pull out some more types of ephemera. Let's just have some fun making some cards. So how is everyone doing? Hello, LaFrance. Good morning, Lisa. Good morning, Heidi. Oh, Biddy's going to be cleaning her craft room. Now, Biddy, please do not get yourself trapped anywhere. We cannot do that again. Just saying. Just saying. I don't think I'll ever forget that day when you got trapped underneath your desk. I'm sorry, I'm still laughing. I think it's funny. But please, we've all done that. I know I have. So I'm just taping this off. Can I do this in one swipe? Well, we're going to anyway. Did you think of it this morning? I still remember that live. I could not stop laughing. Could not stop laughing. But yeah, I thought we would just have a fun play. Let's see what cards we make. See how they turn out. I hope those that are in the membership group is enjoying the mental health tangle challenge, and I will be showing the panel that I completed and will be posted. I think it's going to be posted in 3 segments. In the group, and I can show what the I'm just eyeballing these, lining these up. Nothing too scientific-y about it. It's a technical word. And I'll be able to show those as well. So I have these. Actually, we're going to make 8 panels. or 8 different panels. So we're going to do some abstract art, and then if we can, we'll go into a second one. I've got that one ready to go as well. All right. Let's see. Gina, good morning. Well, they'll always be there, Biddy. So you always have time to get caught up. And that's the fun with videos. You can always, get, watch it because they're always there. Well, fingers crossed, they're always there. And if I don't, um, thing. Now, I'm not sure. I think I did. I think I did yesterday's post. No, because today's the 24th. So 2 will be posted today. So you'll see 2 come out in that. All right. Let's see. Okay, I can say this now. I don't see Cordelia here yet. So next Sunday, I will not be live. She gets a little, oh, I think it's cute. Next Sunday. So I will give you all a break next Sunday. All right. Let's have some fun with some colors. Let's just get some colors down. Can we see that? Yeah, we can see that. I don't know how anybody works in the really small pants. I cannot work in small pants. All right, let's get to it. I'll try. There we go. All right, now that won't rock and annoy me. So let's use what's in our palette. Let's use that up. It's the beauty of watercolors. We can use what's in there. First, let's take a simple pencil. And let's just have fun with it. Going across. And again, this is just a simple number 2 pencil. Oops. And we'll just go across our page. Because now when we do this, it breaks the page. And then we can now we no longer have the white page, the blank page. It's done. Fear's gone. Ave, good morning. It is a sister's retreat next weekend. Yes. And it's my turn to host her there. And I think I'm going to do one side warm and one side cool with the watercolors. Let's see what we get. Again, I'm just holding the brush loosely, adding more pigment as I can. Again, it's not anything that we have to worry about. I want to get my spray bottle. The paper I'm actually trying out today is by Meeden, and it is their cold press. It's at a good price if anyone's looking for that 100% cotton. And I'm seeing them only in blocks right now. Just going to go full bore with the yellow, just to add that brightness. All right, we'll let those do their thing. Yeah, it doesn't, don't have to be anything special there. Heidi, again, just, I think when we do abstract art like this, I really do think that it helps us to get to know our paints, know how they'll work. And again, there is a difference working on 100% cotton paper. It retains the water. So it'll hold, so the watercolors will bleed like they're doing. They'll merge together like they do. I do still like my cancel, like this side is still damp, even though we're over here. This side is still damp, and I'm just going to let that dry. I wanted to try something a little different here. So I am going to grab that second one. So these are already done. Just going to move these out of my way too. I want to see what it looks like. Not those. We'll play with some masks. Found these. Like that one, like that one, like that one. I'm not really a heart person. And that one. That's a good cover. And so is that one. So let me pull those out. Okay, sorry, hearts, you don't make the cut. Now, masks work, and again, at least for me, they work a little different. Kalinda, good morning. How are you? Oh, well, look at that. And I'm going to actually use my pouncers. I don't want to use a brush. These masks are by Cartabella, and it's not, yes it is. I was about to say it's not in here. Well, it is. Okay. But these are very thin. And of course that one's to the back. And we'll see what we come up with this. And I will repunch a hole in these so that I can hang them. Because yes, you were all saying, I heard you, Des, you're cutting off the hole at the top. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yes, I did. But we're just going to put another one in there. There we go. See? All fixed. Oy. But I am going to use my pouncers. And I think I'm going to use a combination of oxides and inks. Because I think, well, they do. They're just different when they go. Let's try that one first. Now, you could also use your spray inks if you have those. It would just take me a very long time to find what I'm looking for. All right, so let's try this. So I'm just going to take the ink pad. This is Oxide Speckled Egg. And I'm going to take Distress Ink Unchartered Mariner. If I can open it. And I'm just going to go over this. I'm not worried about a perfect blend. Matter of fact, I don't want a perfect blend. And I'm probably shaking the camera. All right, now let's see if it does what I think it's going to do. Okay, that's kind of cool. Okay, but let's... So I lost the definition on that, but if I take this back, and I'm going to let that sit there. Because masks will do that. They'll suck right on because of all of the water you've got going on there. Need a paper towel. And I'm just going to let that sit. We're going to see if that'll dry right on there. Then, because you can also, if you don't have watercolors, the beauty of your water reactive inks, you can use them as a watercolor, which I think is wonderful. And it doesn't have to be a distress product. It can be any type of water reactive ink. So, for example, trying to find, no, I don't think I want that color. Let's try eucalyptus. So if I take this foam pads really stick. And then let's add some water to that. This can also become, I do like to work wet on wet, a watercolor palette. Just as long as they're water reactive. You can do that with this. And you can get different values by putting more color in a spot. And then letting that work through. So any water reactive inks, and you absolutely have a watercolor palette. Which I think is cool. Cool, 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 cool. And it saves space. You don't have to worry about cleaning it up. Oh, Anthony, good morning. Gwen, good morning. Cordelia, there you are. Okay. Remember, if you have any questions, just make sure we put those in caps and I will see them. Let's see. Let's continue to have some fun. I do think the oxides are fun as well. This is salvaged patina. And, oh, okay. You know, one of these is going to go flying. And this is peeled paint. So just having fun with different backgrounds. And then we're going to add on top of them. Just going to spray all my panels. So how was everyone's week? Everyone have a good one? We are getting lots and lots of rain. like those two colors together. But that's okay because we need the rain. Very much need the rain. Just remember your oxides are going to give you a chalky feel to their look. But you can see they still move, which I think is cool. I mean, two totally, different looks can be achieved. And I'm letting the water droplets take these circles. So look like spidering out. And then just letting those touch. And hopefully by the time I'm done with these, the other ones will be dry. And we'll be able to go back to those. Well, that's good. New doors. That's awesome. We had to get a new faucet for our kitchen. And then, of course, not just a new faucet, but a new garbage disposal as well. Of course. Yep. Just, home life. It's awesomely fun. And I think the last thing that I want to play with are my watercolor pencils. I want to see what they are going to do. And I got a lot of blues and greens here. Let's go with some pinks and oranges, and I need to spray that area. That's that one. It's a little too orangey for me. This is too light, but that's okay. This is worn lipstick. So it seems like these take a while to get going here, but that's okay. Now, what's great with these, so we're going to have this texture in the background, but we can always take our brush I don't like to um, dip it into the water. Just have this fear. Just a fear. That they'll get destroyed. You can also scribble these down. Just going to flick color on. As I said, this is a good way to just play with your stash and what you have, whether it's your inks, whether it's the watercolor pencils. If you have the Derwent ink tents, now they remember they are ink. I'm going to put that on a paper towel because these do get soft quickly. Oh my. Oh yes. Okay. You can do the same thing with those. So with all the water that I have on my brush, I'm just letting this color go down, or you can flick the color on. Just remember though, with your Derwent, ooh, what color is this? I like this. Oh, that's my lumberjack plaid. Love my lumberjack plaid. That's ink in the Derwent ink tense pencils. It's not like a pigment like this per se. So when those dry, your Derwent ink tense pencils, they dry permanently. It's like acrylic ink. I need a yellow. Where these, they will react if they get wet again. So just something to keep in mind. You can also scribble these on a silicone mat or an acrylic block. And pick it up that way. So that's another way to have a palette. So 9 out of 10, you've got a watercolor type palette in your stash already. I'm going to sop up those puddles. Take just a little bit of water out. Curious on this one. Nope, didn't do a darn thing. Okay. It's all right. Usually if you leave them there, they'll leave an impression. So for this one, we will add Have I tried my non-dominant hand? I have not. I know some people, they take those as challenges, but I have not. I'm just going to soften that out. And let that go. Of course, you know I have to splatter something. And remember, one of the fun things to splatter with is water. That'll give you some level of a texture. Does not always have to be a color. All right. What happened to that? There it is. Let's see where we're at with our other panel. I want these to dry. I really like that one. All right. So these are our other ones. They are not dry yet. They're dry to the touch, but you can still see the waves in them. That means there's still moisture in this paper. It's 100% cotton. So we can still do stuff on top. But we should dry that. Okay, obnoxious noise coming. It's a little bit better. But we're going to go with it. Yep, there's the distress ink. We knew that was coming into this. So I'm just going to pounce around that. See what we get. And remember, these are just backgrounds. They're going to be covered up with whatever we put down. So if you don't like them, cut them up, hide them. It's no biggie. With all of these panels, you're going to like some of them. I like that. Just a small hint back there. Can you make it darker? Yes, you can certainly make it darker. do I want to put on top of that one? Let's try some hickory smoke on that one. And I'm going to go in with a brush. And let's go to the top corner. Oh, I like that. Yes. I want to try a gray one on this one too. Let's do the circles on that one. So I'm staying to the center of the mask so that it doesn't flip up because of it being so thin. I just noticed there's pieces that are still in this. That's funny. I want smaller circles. And I'm using a very light hand. Saying. Go. And let's try this one here. I can wash those later. And then I'll leave those three alone. All right, so these are still wet. You can still see the water moving. And that's okay. Okay, let me clean my brushes. You got more everywhere else. How many do I own? For vintage photo, honestly, I don't own this is how I clean my brushes. And then every 6 months they get a bath. I don't own too many pads. I think I own like two vintage photo pads. Now the refills, that's another story. Yeah, I think I have an obnoxious amount of refills. Absolutely obnoxious amount. Yeah, I think I'm like at 8, 9. Not that I think that this color is ever going to be discontinued, but I need to be prepared. I I need to be, I need to be prepared. It's also the fact that when I could not find my re-inker, I would just buy another one because I thought I lost it, which I didn't. Just saying. Just saying. All right, I'm going to hit this with my heat gun. Let's see. All right, obnoxious sound. Well, good morning, Johnny. How are you doing? Okay, that's close. Okay, time for the peeling. This is the best part. So the tape that I'm using is an artist tape. Um, I don't think it's any name brand. But remember, just take your time when you peel your tape off, no matter what paper you have this on, and just keep it flat. So I just roll right up along it. When it gets too long, I'll come back up and I twist it up. And I know, again, somebody will say you're wasting tape. I get it. But this is just how I work. If I can save it, I'll save it. But I am more concerned about the panels that we've got going on here than the tape. And I know that's horrible because it goes into landfill, it goes into the trash. But I focus in where do I pull now? I'm more concerned about the panels to go onto our art so that we can continue to make them art. This is like embossing powders. You know, when you heat them up and you get that reveal. Yeah, this is like the reveal. And I very rarely have to use a heat gun with this tape. It's one. Two. All right. And basically what you create here is you've created your own pattern paper. Your own pattern paper background to do with whatever you want. Whether you want to die cut into this, and this would be great for florals, to die cut into them, or you just want to chop it up into squares or rectangles or die cut it into circles, whatever it is you want to do, that's what you've basically created. So your watercolors or your water reactive dye inks, no matter what they are, it's how universal they can be. If you have dye inks, you can create a watercolor palette. You can create your own pattern paper. You can create all these different things with just those items. So again, it's just another way to stretch your supplies. Now I'm going to eyeball this. And let's see what type of borders I get. Huh, not bad. Okay. So play around with your watercolors. You can also use those your water reactive dye inks to see if you like watercolors, because you'll be able to mix. You'll be able to do all the fun things that we do with our watercolors. I had a feeling I cut that one off. Hi, Jill. How are you doing? Welcome. All right. So, in a matter of just under an hour, we do have 4 or 8 card fronts. Absolutely. And again, we just used a number 2 pencil, anything that's water reactive to create our backgrounds. We used our masks in a different way. The masks are very thin, but you could use stencils. You can create your own stencil, just by taking a piece of cardstock, and you have some dies, just die cut some shapes, out of there. You're not going to get, as detailed, but I mean, you'll have something that you would be able to do that with. All right, let's grab some. And you can see these are all different sizes, because obviously I eyeballed the center of the panel, but that's okay, because these can be standard A2. Yes, you heard me say that. Or these could be 5x7. All right, so let's see. I do. I actually do have some 5x7 card bases here. We're going to put something back there. But what I am going to do with these is I'm going to grab some black cardstock. And we're just going to put these on, and then I'm going to cut around. I know it makes people nuts when I do that. I know. But we can do that. We don't need... I cannot wait till this glue is all used up. I just don't like measuring. And we don't always have to have a frame that goes around these as well. Figured I'd give it a shot. We can use our solid cardstock or our scraps and create our borders. I didn't use my tape, so this is probably gonna buckle, but that's okay. We're all good. Oh, that's funny. Those lined up. Okay. And again, I'm just gonna take my long shears and cut around and just eyeball it. Trust me, with the background that we're going to have, no one's gonna notice. All right. Let's work on these two. Now, what I am going to do, and this, it's funny. This, I'll just cut this around. Yes, I will just have fun doing that, but I got to have a base. I know. I know. You're all going to say, okay, well, now if she doesn't do that, measure it, then why does she have to? I very rarely, like 0.00001% of the time, will I work directly onto my card base. I just don't do it. But I do use my scraps. So I have cardstock that is absolutely horrific. They say it was like 80 pounds. Nope. This is copy weight paper, like 32. So I save it. And of course, it was a great deal. Now I know why. But I mean, I can't. Hello. You just can't use it for what I wanted. So I use this to do my templates. I use this to see, okay, is this going to work? It's getting its workout for the lap book that we're about to do. So this is going to be the base panel. And now I'm going to work off of that before I put them down onto the things, because we want to add things. We want to add some backgrounds to these. And I'm just going to focus in off of the edge because we're just going to put that there. Let that be the star. But we're also going to collage on top of that too. So scraps, here I come. Because my scraps are becoming in abundance. And we're only going to do a section. I really don't want to use that one. So no matter what size scraps you have, and I'm sorry for that noise if you're hearing that in the background. That's my husband's phone going off, and I have no idea where he is. Absolutely not. He's been very upset this weekend. He can't golf. Oh, I like this too. Even though I'm covering her up, but it's okay. Hang on. All right. We should not hear that anymore. So the black is going to break up that and that. Now you can also take these panels, and if you want to keep your scraps, when you put this on top, you can draw a line around it, and then you'll have the sections inside, so that that'll sit there. Oh, hello. Wait a minute. I like that even better. And now my cat's snoring. I'm not winning today. My husband and I went to dinner last night with my sister. And her husband. And my nephew. And now I got this glue all over me. I'm going to set this on top. Now we're going to collage on top of that. But first, let's figure out what we're going to do for this one. I'm going to cut 2 strips. Of that. So it's an excellent restaurant. Seafood. I don't know if everybody likes seafood. I love seafood. Very much. Very, very much. And this, of course not. And this place had seafood that was just absolutely phenomenal. All right, let's cut a strip from here. And if I do that, let's cut that on that angle. So we had a good time there. And then let's cut these out. All right, let me check the comments. I haven't looked in a while. So I'm just cutting the strips out of this pattern paper. There's 2 of them specifically I want. No. Yes. Holly, hello. I know, I have a hand sanitizer. Yes. I have it now on my table. I understand, Kalinda. I get it. I just don't. It's one of the reasons, though, why I do use long shears. So, the trick with long shears, and I usually, a lot of people say, yeah, I'll still cut crooked with long shears. If you take, I'll take this piece of cardstock here. So, when I'm cutting with long shears, I don't, this is going to be tough to explain. I use the blades to go against, if that makes sense. So as I put this here, or I'm also looking at the pattern paper. So if I'm looking at the pattern paper, now this has dots, I'm just going to go right along those dots. Is it going to be perfect? No. But do you see how the top blade comes down and that pattern paper is nestled against it? That's what will help you keep a straight line, cutting with long shears, because it's staying in line. Does that make sense? Um, and then when I open my shears, I keep it along that top blade. As I'm opening, it's still on that top blade, pushing it back, keeping it in line along this blade, and then I cut down again. And that's how I keep a straight line. Okay, Ave. Now, do not do the cap thing. That's what helps me. Oh, Ave, I love you. You're fun. So that's how I keep that straight line. And again, my hand is usually sitting like this, or it's like this, so that when I'm slicing, it just stays along that blade. And I'm putting pressure down here. You can't see that. And then when I open, I keep it along that and just keep going. You're never going to have, for the most part, I don't like to say never, if you're using short blades, because you're constantly having to go up and down when it comes to that cut. So while you can, you don't have as much space to pull that paper up to keep that line straight. You need to look at what the pattern is on your paper, and just make sure you're cutting down that same section. So I hope that helps. Obviously with Ave, it will not. Okay. And then when I put it back in, again, I'm doing the same thing. I'm angling up towards that, and then I continue to cut. And it's somewhat straight when it comes to that. You two, Holly and Ave, you two are funny. Funny, funny, funny. Too funny. Oh, now this is just going to be a mess with this glue, because we're just getting this glue down on these strips. But I don't want to throw the glue away. That would be just horribly wasteful. And that would make me sick. All right, let's get back to our cards. I think this one's empty. This is getting exciting. All right, let's pick that up. Here's my hand sanitizer that I now keep on my desk. Thank you, Ave. And we're going to clean that glue right up. Oh, nice. Yes. Nice. It works, guys. It works. Nice, Johnny. Yes. Those are little compared to what Biddy used yesterday. I did not get to see what Biddy did yesterday. I saw like a minute, and then I had to get back to what I was doing. All right. Let me grab some scratch paper, because as I cut these, this is something else that's very oddly satisfying. I don't want those to get gummed up. What watercolors did you... What did you all say? Okay. What watercolors did you get, Johnny? What's the set, if you're still there? And I did continue to play with the Cozy Lark. I got the glue in my hands again. Scissors, or not some watercolors. Her it's the only set she has. She has the essential set. And they're nice. I like them. And I think they're at, a decent price point. All right, we're going to do the same thing here. Now, how did I get that? All right, now we're going to collage on top of these. And I pulled out all kinds of my Tim Holtz ephemera because I really want to use it. I have it. Let's use it. right? I think it's a good thing that we have it. And she is, I think she is, he is just dapper. Too big. And when you're collaging, just put your pieces down. Don't, I know it's easier said than done. Someone's going to tell me that. But don't stress over them. Just get them down. Don't worry about the colors. Everything's going to match. Everything works together. Too big. Too big. Although, now, if you should worry about the colors and all of that, you can add your vintage photo to it, or another shade of brown, or ink, whatever it is you want to do. And that will tie it all together. We don't need a handle with care. We don't need a specimen. I pulled out the wrong ephemera. I'm going to let that overhang. It's going to go there because I don't want to cover up all of the work that we just did there. So kind of looking for it to be just in the background. That's why I didn't do too much when it came to that. Kind of just wanted it to hang out, if that makes sense. Nope. And again, I'm not going to put any sentiments on these. These are probably going to be, again, because then I can use them for anything I want. That's the beauty of it. When we add, or I feel, when we add sentiments, I like that. Yes. Now I just got to remember how this is all going to go. I think it limits us. But again, that's just my opinion. Questions. Let's make sure. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's look at this. I'm still going to go for that. Make it that. Lobby. Ah, just going through. At least I am too. I'm an overthinker as well. Um, Collaging though, um, has helped me because I just let it go because I've got everything in front of me. I try not to move away from what I pulled out. I do want my vintage photo. And I'm just going to put vintage photo around the pieces we're adding. Not to that piece or our background piece. And even though I say that, yes, for collaging, I can let go, I still, as Biddy says, I still am intentional. I am. I do wish I had her free flow. She's got an awesome free flow about how she does her mixed media. I still have intentional markings, or I don't know if that's the right word, but it's the word I want to go with. Um, I still have, okay, this needs to go here, or this needs to go here. Okay, that. Now let's get these. And then we can go back to our other ones. And even with these panels that we did abstract with, you don't have to put anything on top of them. I mean, you don't have to collage on top. Um, you can just put those panels down and boom, you got a card. It's just like pattern paper. All right, now I know that went there on an angle. So, and then this went down somewhat of the center. But we are going to push it off to the side because, yeah. Put that there. I don't commit to anything until I tuck. And we're going to tuck that there. This is going to go like that. She's going to go on that. All right, these little pop-outs are making me nuts now. And we're going to set there. And I'm going to put them down on the edge, because then it's like they're standing on something. So they're not floating. and then he'll go there. So we can still see our splatter background. And then we can get these onto our card bases. Now, you can also just do these panels because I do them on a base, especially when I do the Simplicity series. I have all of these bases that I did. I won't put them on card panels or on card bases yet. Because if I did, I would have no room. So I'll just keep them like this and then put them in my storage bin. And then when I need one, I can just grab one and then put it on a card base. Saves space. Saves lots of space. All right, that's one. There's something else though that I want to add to these. His arm's coming off a little bit, and that's okay. It won't hurt. There we go. Because maybe, you know, again, we look like we're a paper store. Just saying. You know, but depending upon the paper that you're using for your card bases or anything like that, you can use your card bases when you need them. All right, we got those. All right, let's move on to, I want to see what our watercolor panels, we'll revisit those because there's something else I want to add. Let's see our panels. Are they dry? Oh, they're close to it. Okay, obnoxious noise coming. All right, let's get this tape off. And since I used, wrong way, and since I used the heat gun, it loosens up the tape. I really like that one. And Johnny, you can absolutely do that. You can just take your card base, and I'll show you that in a second, actually, there. Let's get these cut. What time is it? 10:25. All right. So we have these. Some of these I like, some of these I don't. I'll be honest. I'm not crazy about this one because of that purple that comes out as it goes, but I still save this. It may not make a card, but again, you're going to cover it with what we do. But this is a panel actually I would tangle on because then that will just go away. You can't see it. And I'll show you what I mean by that with one of our projects that we did. I love that one. I don't know why, but I do. But if we take, so let's take this one. All kinds of, no, let's take this one. All kinds of backgrounds. And let's tear it. And I'm going to tear it on all sides. I should have done this with a roller. But that's okay. Because I do want some of the white edge to show. If you've got those fancy scissors, that would be so much better on your hands. This will make your hands a little crampy because you have to do it in short spurts like thing. Am I seeing ink? I am seeing ink. What's the hand sanitizer about? So this glue, the Tombow multi-liquid, it's a great glue. It really is a wonderful glue. But the moment you get it on your hands, and this is just me, but it looks like it's also others. When you get it on your hands, it's like a weird feeling film. It like it never goes away. No matter if you use a rag to clean off your hands with water, it's like this thin film forms on your hand. Ave told me last week, use hand sanitizer, and she is right. It cleans it right up. And it goes away. So that's what the hand sanitizer is about. Plus, I also use it to clean my mat if I can't find my alcohol spray, and all that fun stuff. Because it's got, alcohol in it. That's what hand sanitizer is. Okay. So now that you all painstakingly watched that, if we take, you can simply take this piece here, and we can put this down onto our black mat. I do like a black background. I think black will make any color pop off the page. Have a wonderful breakfast, Ave. Thank you so much for stopping by. Black for me pops all colors. You can also use white. Why can I not find? I found them. You can also use white. It will give you a different look if you use white. But I do like black as the backdrop. And then if we just take, could this possibly be a standard A2 size card? Woohoo! Look at that. See, I even had one. We can just simply put that right there. And then we can get that down directly onto our card base. And then you can add embellishments off of this as well. Okay. We can add, here's my white jelly roll. Again, to get it started, I always use my ring finger. It's the warmest finger that we have. And we can just add some dots in some of our circles. Again, use little pressure. Do not use a lot of pressure with a jelly roll, and it'll just start flowing right out of your pen. I think I'm going to do that one there. Yes, I'm counting because I work in odd numbers. So you can use a white jelly roll. You can use gold ink. So we can pull out our gold ink. So we can do that. You can use a gold pen if you have a gold pen as well. RSVP makes fabulous metallic pens. Now they're not as bright, so you all are going to watch me do this for an hour. Thank you for coming. Oh my goodness. Here we go. You can use your number 2 pencil. Where's my number 2 pencil? You can use that. You can use a black fine liner. And we can add dots to this. It doesn't have to be Zentangle. Squiggly lines are awesome. And then because we did one down there, let's do one up here. And I'm staying within the watercolor area. So when the watercolor stops, my line stops. And we'll add some dots to this. And there you go. And the beautiful thing is if you put this on upside down, it doesn't matter because no one knows what's top, bottom, sideways. And there you go. You have a card. This is a note card. And you can make it anything that you want it to be. So Johnny's absolutely right. Clean and simple. I just like to have a frame around it so that that piece, if you're doing abstract or even a piece of pattern paper, you can do the same thing with. But again, we've created our own here when it comes to that. So absolutely, you can take these panels and put them right down. Now, if you don't want to back it with a piece of cardstock. Let me check this out. Okay, that. Oh, look at that! I have another one. You can absolutely, you can use markers. You can use your watercolors and put watercolor along the side of this as well. You can use your inks. Again, sky's the limit when it comes to that. Now, for this one, we can have fun with the color. So we could go with a nice navy blue. I'm going to use my pouncer and just slightly angle, come down onto it like a 45-degree angle. Get to the corners. I'm going to go back and forth like we do with our blending brushes, and then back to the 45-degree angle. Then we can use our inks for anything. You can use a makeup sponge if you don't have these. I think I got these off of Amazon. And again, just flicking that. You can take the pad directly to your piece. I have messed mine up every single time I do it. This, again, it's control. I can control it. And then after I'm done that, then I just swipe so that I can get that little bit of defining darkness along the side. Just take your time if you're using one of these. And you can see it works. It's coming up on the side. And then you'll see when we put this, flattening it out just a little bit there. Okay. You now have a border. So you don't have to use up your colored cardstock. You can simply just use this. Just use your inks that you have. You could have used black. Absolutely. You could have used brown. You could have used a red, yellow, whatever color you want. A green. I'm not worried about the measurement of this panel. I just know that it's fitting on a standard A2 size card base. That is what I know. That is what I say. And then again, we can come in with our gold again and again. This is just one of those fine liners. And I add just a squirt of water, and I only fill it up about halfway. And I have yet to fill this up. Don't shake it. I'm just saying. It's not pleasant when you shake it. Learn from me. So here I'm just going to, sorry for the scratching sound. And sometimes it'll clog up. And it clogs up because this is ink. So inks will dry up quickly, especially inside. There we go. And if you don't want to use the gold, you can use your white jelly roll. You can use, I need to stop using this gold. You guys are going to go crazy watching me do this. You can use your pencil. You can use your black fine liner. Any other metallics that you have. Again, you can just have fun with it. And again, trick to the jelly roll is no pressure. Just let it come right out, because as you're making these little dots or circles, it's adding friction and heat into that barrel, and that's what's helping the white pigment to come out. You can use acrylic markers. You can use colored pencils if you want to. We can still see our number 2 pencil in the background there. Put your sentiment right across there. So again, we'll set that one aside and let that one dry. Okay, let's do another collage one. We've got time. Gina, I love a torn edge. I love tearing paper. I just torn edge papers are great. Now this is a 140-pound watercolor paper, so this is tough to get under a ruler and to be able to tear up. So yeah, you got to do it with your hand, or what you can do is, now you can take the edge, not these, your edge of your scissors and scratch down as well. That gives an awesome effect by just going down. Be careful. Okay, just I'm a klutz, so I'm not going to do that. So what I like to use is, of course, Tim came out with one. This is a paper distresser, they call it. What it is a thread cutter for quilters. This is one that I have, and it's by Clover. It's the same thing. It's just not plastic. You can take this. Do I want to do it with that one? No, I want to do it with this one. And just literally, because there's a blade in there. It's the same thing. Same exact thing. And what it's doing, it's breaking up those fibers and giving this raw edge to the paper. So you can get one of these as well. All right, so it's called a thread, I believe, maybe a quilter's thread cutter or a thread cutter. Now this one here, he's got more blade showing than those, so you can see the difference that you're going to get. So now I've got the little tiny paper things. This is sturdier. I mean, I can really get in here and just go to town with this paper. I would not use this on thin paper because you'll just go right through the paper. Ask me how I know. But you can do this with your scissors. Just please be careful. Then what you can do, and then take this and tap it so that you can get all the fibers out of there, because they'll build up. All right, let's turn that off. And then you can also come in, like right here, I'm going to come in and make a cut up to that watercolor line. And I'm going to do one here. And I'm going to do one here. And then grab. Now you want a pair of tweezers that are pointed. It'll be easier with tweezers like this. You can do it with tweezers like this, but you kind of got to angle them. And yeah, that's work for me. But if you take your tweezers and take that point, just really push down on it and roll it. And let it tear a little bit. And then I'll come in on this side. Pull that in. And you don't have to, distress the pages. You can, let the pages be flat and still do this. Again, I like the grunge look. I like the torn, weathered look on pieces. And again, it does depend upon the piece that we're doing. You don't have to glue these down unless if it's very thin paper. Since this is a thick watercolor paper, it's going to hold on to it. And then you can just come in there with your fingers and just, again, we tell the paper what we want it to do. And it will absolutely love us for it. So now you've got that. All right, and we can do the same thing. Now you can ink around this. It looks really cool when you ink around it. And again, any color that you would want to do that. So if I come in with the vintage photo, and then these, I'll actually open these up and just ink in around those. And then I'll roll them back up. Paper has memory, so it'll go right back to where you had it. And see, more fuzzies are coming off. I love those little fuzzies. They'll come out. And I'm still going to put this on a black background. Because again, I want it to pop. I want that back to sit there. But when I put my glue on, I'm only going to put it towards the center. Because I do want those edges to curl up. I like that. Again, it's like a piece of paper that was torn. And then again, I'll just come up. Measure your panel if you want. And cut it that way. And so, do I have another base here? This will be shocking if I do. Oh my. Oh my. Must have been a project where I didn't use. And now we can put this on here. I'm going to have to make one more 5x7 to make this fair. And again, this does add a little bit of dimension. All right, so, mailing might be an issue. Let's... Okay, that's too big. But I do like that panel. Do I have... if there's a large, there's a small. And I do want to annoy you all again with the gold. Maddie, hello. You're not late. All right, now what I am going to do though. All right, I'm not going to wait for that to dry. I'm okay if it's not dry. And again, we're just... So I do want that there. Or in fact, I want that there. That go there. And I need one more piece. You all know why. Nope, that's too big. Oh yeah, there we go. All right, so this I know is going to go right there. And if you don't have that gold, if you have gold thread, just and then glue it down. And make that sound as you do it. It's the simple things that we have fun with. I'm going to put this down here. Like that. And we're going to put that right there. All right. So now we'll set that one aside. And it's okay that the gold is still wet down there. It's going to dry. It's like the glue. It dries. So now we got that. All right. So we have one. What happened to my other two cards? Found them. I found them. Never fear. We found them. All right. Let me dig out. We're going to make one, possibly two more. Oof. All right, let's look. All right, so this is what we have left. So let's... So I'm just pulling out the tall ones. here are our tall ones. I like that one. I really like the ones with the gears. I should have done that one darker. Let's do this one so that we can do a color. Oh, let's do both of them. And then these are the ones that I have left. And I'll either use them for other cards because we did a total of 16. Just had fun with all the different things that we had. So I'll either tangle on these or make them other backgrounds, or again, just having fun. All right, so there's that base. I need to cut another base. And I need to find something that I can't find on my desk now. Hang on. I know I had it. Well, I am not going to keep looking for it. So let's just grab another. So I finally went through all of my 5x7. Almost got that wrong. Card bases, which is awesome. But I'm not going to buy any more yet because I still have a lot of card bases left. The only card base, yeah, I make my 4x9s. All right, let's line that up. Boop. And then we'll put those there. Now you can also, you don't have to use black. You can use a color that matches in with this. So let's see. I really think about black for that one. Oh yeah. So I'm going to make my design base for that. There's that horrible paper. And I don't even remember what this paper was so that I can tell you it's going to look like a great deal. Don't get it. All right, now I'm going to put this down further. You're going to witness a miracle. I'm going to measure this. So I want to go 4.5 by 6.5. So remember that, guys, 4.5 by 6.5. Yes, you have witnessed it. I actually measured, but I know what I wanted here. So this is paper, pattern paper on its truest form. So it tears wonderfully with a ruler, and you can still get that edge. All right, it's very jagged, very. And this may, so I'm just keeping my design base down there. It's not that I may not glue this on there because I don't have anything in the back. You can. So I think that looks awesome with that, with the brick. And if you want, you can take, let's see if we can find something in my scraps. It would be awesome if I could to find a paper that is close to any of the colors in that ink that we used. Although, nope, no, nope. Again, your eyes will tell you. I'm just saying. Okay, not bad. And you'll see why it won't be bad. Okay. I want the slightest white border going around that. So that just toned down that edge. Now that can go there. And this will come up here. Let's grab our black soot. I gotta check the comments. So I'm gonna come in with black soot, but I'm just gonna go straight down. And just by doing that, like I showed before, you're putting a frame on it. may not be totally visible, but it's there. You're taking away that white edge. Holly, you have my prayers. As do you, Maddie. Yes, send them. Absolutely. To both of you. I will be thinking of both of you very much. Okay. Just needed a moment. All right. So let's go back into say the paper dolls. I think that one's too big. Although, yeah, it's too big. But do I have a small one? Just saying. A young bride. We could do a young bride. Put her over here. Flowers. She definitely has to have flowers. Now, what we could do. Nope. Not gonna work. Uh-uh. Of course, I pull out the two of the same thing. Can have that. Or what do I want the rose? Because no, then I'd have to move her over there. I want her to be on that side for some reason. But I found one curving the other way. It's the little things. Just saying. I like the rose. And let's possibility. Not a mushroom. I'm not a mushroom person. Anybody else a mushroom person? I'm just really not. I don't know why. That one stands out better. And what is that? And that be it. All right. Oh, don't break the antennas. And we'll go around like that. All right, so now let's get our layers down. Now that I took that all apart, it'll go back down differently. And again, you can always cut, the centers out of your papers. I do not. I used to. But I stopped doing that, especially when it came to the specialty papers. Because I found my cards started concaving in ever so slightly, but that I did notice, and I did not like that. And again, I'm putting my glue towards the center because I like it when the sides curl up with that. We're going to put our watercolor panel down. And the butterfly is going to go up in, or moth, whatever this is going to go up into the corner. Just like that. And we're going to curl those wings up. They'll flatten in the mail, but they'll have some dimension. So we'll do that. I'm going to get her in place. That's going to get tucked in underneath. And then this is going to go down below. Then I can get her in there. All right, we got that. Now we'll get this one on our base. And yes, I could have taken that light blue and gone directly to my card base. It's just very rare. Although you all did see a miracle with me measuring this. So I knew what size to tear it. I'm telling you, that was make sure I don't put these cards on top of the other ones because they're still drying with the gold. All right, our last card. Let's do our last one. I like this, but I really wanted to make it darker, and it didn't. All right, let's figure out the base first. I like that. Nope. And I also like that. So we can put this up top. I can put this down along the bottom. I can put this on top of this. I like that. And we are going to give this a trim. So I want to keep a very thin white border, and the tape line is telling me that, showing me that. See how it changed when we took some of that white away. But now I do want that on a black panel. And we're going to give this one the thinnest one we can. Mm-mm. So I hope, for those of you that do celebrate Memorial Day, I think we should all, just my opinion, but I hope you're having fun with family, friends. My husband and I are just going to, well, my husband's going to grill tomorrow. So I'm very excited over that. I love it when he grills. All right. So just that thinnest black border. I didn't want to ink around. I didn't want to take away from all of that, the watercolor that we did. But I do like it on that. So let me get that down. Now, we're going to do a trick. I'm going to cut this in half. It does not have to be a straight line. We're going to get this glued on here. And then we're going to get this one on down here. We're going to cut this away. Now, you could very easily take these pieces and just put them right back in here. No one will know. That's what we're going to do. No one is going to know. Now, if somebody looks at this card and says, well, the dots aren't lining up, this is where you take the card and you hit them on top of the head. Just saying. Oh. Okay, Heidi. All right. Everyone, please send prayers. All right, Heidi. I hope that gets better for you. That was a shame. I know. I had, well, that's a lot of glue. I had, when I came out of remission from, so I have Graves' disease. See, you can hardly see it. So, yes. And look, when I put this there, yep, so much is going on. We're good. So I came out, I guess, 4 years ago. It came back. And for me, Graves' disease affects my thyroid. Now, when I had it the first time, and I won't give you all the gory details, you know, I just had some of the issues that goes along with it. But one of them, two of the ones that were very concerning for me were my eyes. And the other one was I had hand tremors. I got hand tremors. That was when I got it the first time. Now, when I came out of remission, there was a couple more of the side effects that came back that I hadn't experienced before. One of them is strength. It's a little crooked, but that's okay. Strength. I need him to sit on something, but he's too dapper. He needs to be on this card. Strength in my legs. So, like, if I would go down, I couldn't get back up. So, finally got back to the doctors, and it was what I thought. So, it's all good. You know, got back on what we needed to do. And we've been good for a while. However, we believe, and this it's normal. We believe it's coming back again. So, all right. So he will be sitting there. I like that. So, and I totally understand the anxiety, frustration, all of that. I get that, guys. So you are in my thoughts and prayers. Okay, we don't need something that says arsenic. Okay. I'm just saying. That's too big. don't want to put a bird. Too big. Maybe. Wrong one. We'll put that there. I do want to put this one in. For some reason, I just like the color. And put that, get that off the center. And we'll put that there. All right. So, I'm with y'all. Yes, Maddie. Yeah, it's, and I have wonderful, thank you, Maddie. I have wonderful doctors. My doctor left where I was seeing him, which was awesome because it was literally right around the corner of my house. And then he left there. And of course, you know, it's amazing. You know, when they leave, you know, they can't tell anyone. So I told him, I said, okay, when are you going to be there? The new place? Well, here. Okay. So I hunted him down. Found him. So I'm still with him. I won't go to anybody else when it comes to this. He did so much for me. And that is not going to stop. But we do believe, yeah, I'm coming back out. Of remission. But it'll be fine. But it does. It's a constant change, constant monitoring. I have a wonderful support system. So, but yeah, it is something that's never ending. Okay. Okay, he is just dapper. Too cute. They're all cute. They're all absolutely adorable. Okay. Alrighty. Now you guys know me. Let me do my little cleanup here. Basically, you know, that's just pushing everything out of the way. Getting water off my desk so I don't knock it over. And we'll go over the cards. And I will, just like I always do, I've got some announcements, updates, fun stuff, and all of that. Where did I put that? All right. Let's see if I can get this way. Oh my. There we go. So we made our own pattern paper, which I think is cool. And again, remember, anything that's water reactive, your dye inks, anything like that, you can create your own watercolor palette. Now, it's not going to sit in a palette that we know as a palette. You know, it's not like tube paints or anything like that, but you can do that. And what's great with your, water reactive inks is you can ink blend with them, and you can get these different looks. You can variegate it. You can just do a solid color and then spritz water on it, or, spray white splatters on it. And you can get so many different looks and techniques when it comes to that. So don't, your water reactive inks can do a lot. If you just have watercolor pencils, you can do the same thing. You can use those as a palette as well. You can scribble them down. Now, there is something, oh, who did it? There is a palette, and I forget who made the palette, and I don't have it in front of me, and it would take me forever to find it, where it's got this, it's plastic, but it's got this slight texture to it so that it'll grab the pigment from either your crayons, if you have the Neo colors, the distress crayons, your Derwents, you can scribble down and again add water to those, and they become like a watercolor palette as well. So again, you've got all of these options when it comes to the different types of mediums. And I know from somebody who has all of those mediums, I'm telling you, you don't need all of them. I know. It's kind of counterbalancing. I get it. I absolutely get it. But again, I truly do, believe that. For you guys, you don't have to have everything. We can use alternatives. We can use our stash in different ways and give it new life, basically. All right, so these are the cards that we made. We started out just doing some very basic abstract panels. These are our panels here. Here I used the pads, Distress Oxides, and Distress Inks to get this. I didn't like what happened in the background, so we just added more on top. These were watercolors. These are the pencils. So you can see the fine line of the pencil back there, but then I added my wet brush to the tip of the pencil and just watercolored with them to get that color. That's watercolor as well. This was 2 oxides. This was patina and mowed lawn. See, I still have that glue all over my fingers. Making those backgrounds. This one I just love. I love the way it just... again, patina and mowed lawn going together here. Again, these are the crayons, distress crayons, and then again, that. So we created these, and then for some, we did some stenciling on top using our oxide ink. We used masks. That's what these were. These were masks. So they're a little bit different than stencils, but can be used as them. These are just very thin. So, and I'm, yeah, I can like really give a workout to my supplies. And just had fun with them because we didn't get into too many details of what we were doing there, only because I knew we were going to collage on top. Pulled out the Tim Holtz stash and just wanted to use some of that up. So we used our dolls, we used some of the field notes, and some of the regular. We even just use, you can use pens, a black fine liner. This is a pencil back in through here. This is a white um, jelly roll. That's dry. Um, ink pen. You can use acrylic markers. Acrylic markers are great for this, to just add to the design that you have. Again, I'm not putting any sentiments on these because then I have the flexibility of using them the way that I want to use them. If I want it to be a wedding card, it can be a wedding card. If I want it to, here's another wedding card. All right, but these don't have to be for wedding. This could be for an anniversary. This could be for a celebration. This could be for a birthday. You know, again, different ways that you can just tear up the paper and give it that rough edge and these corners that we just folded in. Use the ephemera, used our scrap papers to create a background along the back just to break up. For me, that's just way too much white. So just to break that up. And we did that in different ways. Here we did that with stripes. Here we just did it with 2 blocks. Here we did it with layers of paper. And then we used a ruler to tear our paper when it's really thin. It can do that. Or I can do that easier. Let's say it that way. And for this one, we just trimmed this down. We use layers there. Look, you can't, unless I point it out, you can't see it. So use those scraps, fill up the back. I really liked that back. Yes, this panel kind of went all crooked. I'm not worried about it. Again, he looks cute sitting on that little box. And again, I just don't put sentiments most of the time. When it comes to what do you call it? I just want the freedom of what the cards can do. All right. So I had fun. We made 7 cards. Woohoo! In about 2 hours? Almost 3? Yeah. Okay. So updates. So we are continuing the 2026 wow 2026 mental health tangle challenge. We have the main tangles here. So we just do, this is with the voiceover for the main tangles. And then for each of the membership levels, we then did another tile. So for the one level, we made them look like postcards and just tangled them just a little bit differently. And then I added some spare stamps that I have. That one looks like a snake. And just had fun with that. Tried a new paper. Love the Strathmore Mixed Media Toned Blue to tangle with. It's wonderful with the chalks and everything else. And then what's going to be going into the other group, I finished that up, but I will show you what the panel looks like. This is the panel that you guys will see, where all 21 tangles are put into one 9x12 piece of paper. All right. For anybody that's tangling, though, here's a trick. Now, I love Canson XL paper. When it comes to this, I love what it does with watercolors. I love what it does, period. Here's a note, though. Remember, Canson XL watercolor paper is not 100% cotton. All right. It's like a cellulose. So the watercolor sits differently on it. It is difficult to get the white chalk on that paper. If I had used a 100% cotton piece of watercolor paper, just like we did in our first Sunday tangle for May, I did that one panel that was on 100% watercolor paper. The white chalk showed up better and stronger, the way that you may like. So if you ever do this, whether you're in memberships or not, just know that you will have that challenge. I'm putting layer on top of layer on this, hoping that the white chalk that I'm putting down is going to scuff up, basically, the paper. But this is what the second tier will see, and how these came about, and how that came about, and all of that. All right. Um, soon they will be posted. And then in our other one, we're going to take a stamp, do different cards. All right. So those are the updates there. The other update is I will not be going live next Sunday, which I believe is the 31st. Yes, it is the 31st. I will be with my sister. I know, Cordelia, if you're still there, don't be upset. Do not be upset. But I will be back on the following Sunday, and that will be our first Sunday of the month, and that's where we will tangle, and we're going to turn those into cards. So, um, we're going to continue making our cards when it comes to all of that fun stuff, because we can turn what we tangle into a card. Absolutely. Why not? And we can turn it into a card so that it's also a keepsake for your recipient. So that's what we're going to do 2 Sundays from now. Oh, thank you, Kalinda. Thank you, Glenn. I'm glad you enjoyed that. Um, oh, thank you, Maddie. Let's see. I'm just making sure there's no questions. I'm checking us. Let's see. Oh, good. I hope you all do get to. Yes, Gwen. Gwen is always there. She is my enabler. I should really, just make her a moderator. Um, that's exactly what it is. It's by Karen Dash. This palette I was talking about that's got the texture on it for crayons, for watercolor pencils that you can scratch on it. It'll hold on to the pigment and you can add water to it. It's not that bad. Oh, I'm glad you all love the panel there. Even if you just take a ballpoint pen and a copy paper, just doodle. Just just doodle. Make shapes. Doodle. Make a watercolor background and just grab a marker, a fine liner, a acrylic marker. If you have a Posca pen, if you have a ballpoint pen, whatever you got, just doodle. And trust me, that is this, and also tangling. That's what helps with my anxiety, my concerns, my things that I focus on that I don't have to, but for some reason I do. So I hope I did inspire you guys to get into your space. Um, and just have fun. Block it all out. Turn on music. I found I'm starting to make sure the things that I'm listening to are turned up. I've been watching does anyone remember the show One Day at a Time? The old one with Valerie Bertinelli, and yeah, I've been watching that. Hysterical, makes me giggle. Or I actually put my headphones on and listen to my music, which is really bad because the music I listen to, yeah, I'm into, yeah, it's it's not soothing. it's it's good music, but it's just different. All right. So yeah, one day at a time. Yes. All right, guys. Please, all of you, thoughts, prayers, and if somebody doesn't like the time that I'm saying prayers, I'm sorry. My channel. I can do that. Um, they are all coming your way. Happy thoughts. Happy memories. Absolutely. So, hope you'll get in there, block out the world, even if it's just for an hour. Just block everything out and create some beautiful art. Just create something. And if you like that, create another one. And if you like that one, create another one. All right. And keep going so that you can block out just that moment in time for all of you. Okay. I love you all. Thank you so much for being here. I really enjoy these Sundays. Um, you all support me just by being right here. So I truly grateful and I'm honored to be part of your creative journey that you've brought me in. So thank you guys. Love to you all. Have a wonderful holiday if you celebrate. And I will talk to you or talk at you in 2 weeks where we will be tangling. All right, guys, take care. Love to all and have a good one.